Hello, welcome pen friends. I am really excited about something, so I wanted to make a video and let you know about this product because I don't think there's enough word has not gotten out widespread about these wonderful ink sample vial labels from the Dormouse's desk. Now, this is Brenda, and she has an inky channel which I've been enjoying for quite some time. She participates in the 30 Inks 30 Days and does beautiful artistic videos over on her channel. If you haven't checked her out, you really should. And some time ago, quite a while ago, she sent me some of these so that I could just give her my opinion. And I think I wasn't the only one. Others were also sent some samples just so we could directly give her our opinion before she actually went into production on these. But now she's selling them at her Etsy shop. And this little thing here only has one panel, but it actually includes 100 of the ink vial and the lid labels. So I gave her a written, like report back of what I thought, and I was crazy about them, and I was like really worried, like I wonder how much they'll cost, I wonder if they'll sell out immediately, will I be able to get more, because as generous as the sample was that she gave me, I used them up and they're like scattered in my collection of ink samples. So and then time went by, quite a bit of time, so I wasn't sure if if she was going to actually produce them for sale or not, and I kept thinking about it, and then one day I just I got a packet from her with some of the final product, and here they are. So let's see what we can do. What I think I want to do is use a couple of different pens to like write on them, and then I've got my paintbrush to go ahead and show you. There's so many things I like about them, but my mind is probably going to explode if I try to just, load that right in the beginning. So I'll get one out and we'll label a couple of them, and then we'll talk about it, because what I like is they're truer to the color than these, like more porous, I guess they call these reinforcers. I get them in the grocery store or Walmart, and that's what I've been using on the tops of my vials. But this comes, you get one each, the label and the vial lid. So we'll just dive right in, and that way it might help me organize my thoughts a little bit better. So let's see, we're going to open this up and go right along. So it has 100, and on each one I think there's 20. Yeah, there's 20 on each panel. So, and I have all my notes from when I emailed her. I had to go back into my email because it's been a while, and I had done a whole page for Brenda so that she'd know what I thought, and I had observations, I had what I liked, and I had a conclusion and the whole 9 yards. So I'm hoping to get that to you if I can organize my thoughts well enough. So but before we start, oh gosh, I knew this was going to happen. It's just, so my method until these has been to just type out on my computer on regular paper, and then cut it out and tape it on the vial. And that works okay, but I end up with a paper like this with a little cutout. So I end up like using the rest of the page for blotter paper or underneath when I swatch. I try to not be wasteful, but this is wasteful. I mean, sometimes I'll have, 5 or 10 at a time, or if I'm sending to someone some samples, and I'll do them all at once, and I'll try to remember anything else that I needed a vial labeled and do them at once. But it's time consuming too, because I've got to sit at my computer, open a document, type it in, print it out, cut them out, so anyway, and other people I'm sure have other methods. There are certainly labels out there that you can purchase in these different sizes like this, and you can write on them. But I do want to show you some of the things that can happen. This is one. I don't really remember. I guess Israel's Zablu Ackerman. Okay, so I guess I could still read it, just barely, but it does, it did kind of come off. And that's not, you know, that's just normal. I happen to do that, I guess, with either wet hands or, and then this one, the original label runs this way, and I don't know if you can see, but it did get wet, and it was within a little tiny bag, so it didn't hurt anything else or any of the other labels. This was Birmingham Pen's Elderberry, and only a little ink escaped, but it did ruin the label. And this is common, and so that's where I feel like these are superior in one way. So we'll go right through the process and test it out. First, I'm gonna use just this is Scribo Rosso Chinati. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And I know that this is not water fast. In other words, it's not permanent ink or anything, but we're going to just label one, and we'll work with this as one of our samples. So I'm going to just write right on it, Scribo. Scribo. Rosso. Chinati. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and I like to put the round label on my vial first, and then I'll paint on my color. Whoops, and that's already cleaned. I did clean it. So I like it that with every label you've got your lid label already here for you. So then I just paint it on. Whoops, let's see. Didn't get enough ink. Okay, so that's nice and vibrant. I like that. Probably don't, yeah, I have paper towel. I didn't really make a big mess though. I think I can just let it dry. Okay. So side by side, we've got them. I don't remember doing this one, but I did it. So let's compare. We'll do one of these. I've got more of these somewhere, although I don't know where. Okay. I actually, yeah, okay, that I don't like. See, that really is super absorbent, so it darkens it just a little. But you know, you can live with it. It's not you can't live with it. I just feel like these are superior. Let's see. So now we're gonna put that label on there. I don't normally use the fountain pen ink to do this with, but this is going to come in because we're going to do a test that I don't remember. I think I did on the other one, but it's been months. Okay, so there. Now, one of the other things I can tell you, because I worked with these for quite a while there when I was getting ready to give her my impressions, was that these stick on really good. So I was going to try to... where this one, you see, the person who sent it did tape it over, or else I did, because it was coming off. It's quite easy to come off with the regular label stuff. Like, just does, that's all. So, okay, we've got this one ready. And there's one more I want to do. I want to do cross violet, because I actually don't have one. So I'm either going to use the Pigma Micron or the ballpoint, but I think the Pigma Micron, I just like it. It's nice and fine. It's a 01, and it is permanent archival, so that helps a lot. So you won't get any problem, usually, anyway. But I like it. So I'm going to do cross, violet. Okay, my handwriting is atrocious. And we're going to make a vial for this. Oops. There we go. Put this on. Another of the elements I tested was, okay, since it sticks so good, I thought, oh no, but I like to reuse my vials. I wonder if it'll come off. And this was one of the things Brenda and I were back and forth about. But then when I found out, yeah, they come off. I did it. I tried it, and it cleaned off, and there was no problem. It was just, you know, getting it started. But I didn't have that lift up on the edges, because initially I had said if they were just a tad bit longer, then they would overlap each other the way, let's see, the Goulet ones, they overlap each other a little bit. So that gives you an additional, and those don't, Goulet ones don't tend to come off, you know, until you get ready to scrub them off if you want to, if you're done with your sample. I was afraid of this. I get rambly real quick. Okay. But I do have notes that I can kind of stick to try to help me. Whoops. Paintbrush is quite, quite interested in hanging on to that beautiful Scribbo ink there. Okay. Cross violet. I'm just going to do the top cap. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. I can see that it's purple. Looks really pretty. Let me see how it did on here. For some reason, I didn't have a little vial with cross violet, or if I did, I emptied them all into here, and then I no longer had one. And I kind of like to fill from the vials, the little sample vials. So, okay. Do this. Whoops, I'm trying to be fair and do it exactly the same. And we'll even blot the same way we did. Okay, you still see that it's purple, quite a bit darker, but I like it. I like this material of this sticker, and I'm not technical enough to know just exactly what it is. All I know is this is nice. And it's small enough to fit like in one of your ink notebooks, like my A5, so that I could keep it stashed there, either in a little back pocket of the ink journal, or I don't have to worry about a huge panel. Okay, so there we have it. And what I think I'll do is go and get these wet at the sink and bring it back. And we'll just see, can we still read the label? Because I think, if I remember right, that was one of my really exciting findings for her. And then I'll try to read through some of the things I told her, because I think it's good for you to know. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've mistreated these vials. I ran them right under the water. Just, you know, and that's not exactly what would happen. Normally it would be your hands would be wet, or you'd kind of smear. But you can still read this, and this is not a permanent ink. Let's write on some paper, and we'll get that. Yeah, I need to get the proper kind of paper. Okay, this will be right inside my ink journal. It's 68 GSM Tomoe River paper, and it's Scribbo. Okay. Okay. Ink test. Let it dry for just a few minutes, and then we will test its water resistance, because I don't understand how that can still be readable on that label, but it must be the makeup of the actual label itself. Okay, I'm going to get clean water. Okay, clean water, or as clean, relatively clean. I'm just going to see if I can get it to drop. Yeah, okay, not perfectly clean. Pinkish. Because I ran that underwater, so it's only fair that we be kind of sloppy here. So let's do that, and then we'll check back on this later. But it's definitely not a permanent ink. But let's check back on this as we go along and see how it is, okay? All right. Sometimes I wonder about my ideas, but definitely, yeah, it's definitely affecting the ink. Okay. I love these, and I'm going to tell you, this is how much I love them. I love them so much that before I did this video, before I make this public, I ordered a set, because that sounds terrible, but it's true. It's happened to me before with an ink review. I'll be so in love with an ink, and I'll do a video and, you know, put it through all its paces, and then the ink will sell out or something. And I'm like, oh man, I should have bought a bottle first, because I was using a sample, and I've told it the whole world, or at least everybody who follows me, how great they are. And now I can't get them. So Brenda sent me quite a few of these, and if you stick around to the end of the video, it might be a good idea. Let me put that hint right in there right now. So I want to try to go through what I had come up with here. So I wrote down the size on my little thing here, and the size is in inches. The label is 1 3/4 by 1/2 inch. And then if you want the millimeters, the metric, it's 45 millimeters by 13 millimeters. Now I know you can get just regular old paper labels this size, but there's something special about this label paper. So the cost is $10 for the 100, and it's only $2 shipping. So that's where that is. Now I've got a list of, you know, what I like, what I don't like. So I wanted to go over that with you too. Oh, I'm looking at that massive ink smearing. And yeah, okay, so we're getting something similar there on just regular paper as we had on this one, where, yeah, I can kind of, I can still read that this was once Ackerman's Israel's Zeblu, but I'm not super happy with that. I would want to relabel that. And yet it didn't get as bad as this one where it disintegrated, and I could see BP, but so I knew it was Birmingham pens, but I can't read it. So that's pretty good for it to behave, run underwater, you know, I think. So there we have it. Okay, back to my list. It's superior sticking on these. Let's see. I didn't need to make this label, so let's make this label our tester for taking off the label. We'll go ahead and get that. Okay. So we could take it off. It's stuck real good though. Actually, that's pretty good too, because if you've ever done these kind, they really make a mess, and then you end up with your nail trying to get all the residue off, because I'm a picky person. I like, so I'm surprised that it comes off well, and yet it sticks so well. I have not had any of hers, you know, come off on their own without a good picking. Let's put it that way. Yeah, so unfortunately this was just like I don't need this. So this was just for demonstration. The next thing is the water resistance, which we saw with this, because I would not think that you would have even that much readability if you're just using the actual fountain pen ink. But I do usually use ballpoint or an archival ink when I handwrite them. Okay, so next was, I like the size of the sheet. I totally like that. I don't like dealing with the great big packet of mailing labels. So that's the thing. Truer color on the lid label. Over the several that I did before, which I feel like kind of like a dingleberry, because they're all into my collection, and I don't want to delay this video while I go and search for the ones that I did. It was so long ago, I went ahead and filed them all back where they belonged. But I like the way the color comes through on the label circle, which is the same as the regular label. And then they do remove for reuse. Yeah, so you're not, at one point, I think when in discussing these way back, we both were like, oh, I hope they do come off, because if they didn't, then it would be really hard. You'd have to go over, I guess, over the label. I reuse these all the time. So on the other side of don't like, okay, so this was something I mentioned to her. I feel a little more secure when a label, interestingly, this Van Ness label is the same size, but it's different paper. It feels more porous, more thinner. Yeah, it comes off. Let's see what happens if we get it wet. Probably nothing, because, oh, well, no. Okay. Tends to kind of disintegrate the paper. Let's leave that there for a minute. I don't know why I'm in such a science mode today. Okay, so I thought that having it overlap might be better, but I haven't run into any trouble. And look, I've restuck it on and it's still sticking, so that's pretty cool. And then I asked myself at the time, I wondered how she'd have to price them because I thought they'd be wicked expensive, but this is really good in my opinion for 100. Okay, so let's see, clear this up. Take $10 divided by 100 equals, so 10 cents each. So because they're such superior quality, I definitely feel that they're worth it. Now, this is the Van Ness label, not to pick on them. I think all of these labels are kind of similar. So it just kind of, you know, it comes apart. And we just saw this was run underwater. And then I just was able to pull it off. That's, you know, that's not a big deal. It's just to show the difference in the material of the label, because all of our commercial samples are done very similarly. I think maybe this is an old Goulet one. It was overlapped, and it, you know, it sticks on real good, and you'll have trouble getting it off probably. So it just, to me, adds to the value of these labels. And I don't have a problem with the price because it's the top one that I now want to use. I'm the type of person that if I have a bottle of the ink, I want a corresponding sample vial with the ink in it to fill from on all of my bottles. That's just something that I do. And so I go through a lot more labels and rigmarole to create that for myself. So that's it as far as, well, let me look over my notes that I gave her, because I just want to make sure. Yeah, I mean, I wrote it all out for her in a different way. We hadn't even talked about me making a video. It was all about me giving her feedback, so she didn't ask me to make a video or anything like that. It is going to be labeled, it says, you know, paid promotion, because it was supplied to me by, you know, someone who's selling them. So I have to do that just to make sure I don't run into YouTube trouble. Yeah, conclusion. I'll just read you my conclusion, because I went over all the other points with you. I said, wow, after using these for a couple weeks, I am looking at the very few I have left and knowing I will want to buy more, and I just did. I've never used anything better for labeling ink vials. I still feel that way. Quite happy, and yeah, you lose the readability. You could kind of, you'd end up having to guess on paper when you use that ink. So I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't a semi-permanent ink, but no, it's not. So we've come to the fun part in the video, and if you stuck with me this long, because this is a bit of a ramble, then you deserve to hear this part especially. So here we go. Because Brenda was so generous with me with sending, now that she's launched and is actually selling them, this is what I'm planning to do. I've got, so 5 of you will win a sample of these labels, and your sample will have 20 of the labels and one of her postcards, because she sent me 2 sets of her beautiful inky postcards. So it'll be random as far as which postcard you get, but this is open to everybody who's a subscriber of the channel and who leaves a comment. Please do indicate if you're not entering the drawing, and I will draw 5 names. You can live anywhere, because I will use the appropriate stamp if you're global, or if you're international, or if you're here in the United States. So hopefully I'll have time to dash off just a quick little note to each of the 5. It's been pretty busy around here, but still I think that would happen. So, and it'll just go in a regular sized envelope. So just, I will type out in the description the way that I need to do for any giveaway. So it's open to everyone. Just make sure that if you aren't entering, like you already have some of her vials and you don't want to enter and so forth, just put I'm not entering, but whatever you want to comment. But otherwise, all the other comments for this video will be used as an entry for one of the 5. Let's see. The other postcards right here. So I get to keep a set because she sent enough. But I'm kind of paranoid, so I ordered more of the of the labels. So there are these. They're just beautiful, and they're postcard, usable postcards with beautiful ink art. I just love what she does. She's taken it to a whole nother level than I have, but I really enjoy seeing that. So I'll try to keep that simple. And my calendar was okay. Well, this is Saturday, the 24th of September, and I'd like to choose the winners on October 1st, which is Saturday. So that gives us a week, and then it's just a matter of me announcing and emailing, or having you contact me with your address once you're a winner. So we'll try to keep that super simple, and then I'll get them out in the mail. I'll have these already separated, and my return address stamped on these envelopes, before today ends. So that'll give me just a real simple way to handle it. Okay. So I'm glad you watched, because I think everybody who's serious with ink samples and sharing ink samples and keeping ink samples the way I do for, my bottles, and would be very interested. This is a high quality ink sample vial labels. And like I said, I'm not being paid to promote these. In fact, Brenda doesn't know I'm going to do this video. I just, we worked together in terms of me letting her know what I thought of them early on, and then I'm just delighted that they're on her Etsy shop now. So that's that. So I will see you in the comments, where I'll be, collecting your entries over the next week, and then we'll get back together on it, and I'll let you know who won the little samples. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.